can play a major role in that initiative. But can we reach it? So that's actually the question that actually I would like to actually pose to all of you. And quickly I will actually run through, I will not probably go through all these things, but some of the important topics. And the use of ICT, as you can see, actually, I divided them into 4 areas. In schools, universities, probably universities are better off. We are talking about ICT education, ICT like studying about ICT and using ICT as an education, as a tool. And industry is ICT industry separate and whole big non-ICT industry, which can really benefit from the use of ICT. And in the ICT, the government and the society, and it's basically the e-governance that we are talking about, and the services that are ICT-enabled services for citizens. All these things are places where ICT can be used. So this is the use of ICT. So in all aspects, on all these things, the important aspect is how do we create that need to use ICT. And let me quickly, so this summary is just mentioned by Mr. Ajith02 as well. The IT workforce growth from 15,000 odd numbers to 50,000 in 2010. I would like to actually put that in context of how many people, how many students leave the school education system in each year, 300,000. And that's a lot of big number. And out of that, probably a very small fraction actually is joining the ICT workforce. How do we actually increase that is the question that we need to ask. And again, as I already mentioned, the government has already invested huge amount of money to develop the ICT infrastructure in the school education system, not only in school, but in the universities as well as the government the offices. And these schools are also actually connected to the internet as well. And also we have in the school education system we have 9,700 odd schools there, but the distribution, student distribution within the school actually is very much skewed. As you can see from this table, nearly 50% of the student population actually lives stays in 1,000 schools when you rank by the student population. 10% of the schools accounts for 50% of the student population. So what we can actually really do is, if we really address some of these schools, and we are really covering a larger margin, even though the country is big and the schools are everywhere, we can really actually, by just for example, let's say by covering 4,600 schools, we are covering 90% of the student population. And if you look at the current statistics, we are looking at 90% coverage in terms of accessibility to the ICT, and nearly 58 to 60% coverage in terms of basically accessibility to network, that is accessing the internet. And what these statistics tell you is we are well on our way to reach the target of 100%. And the 100% actually is not too far. The government investment, as I already mentioned, huge investment has all been made. And there's another aspect. So unlike the buildings that we spend a lot of money on buildings, roads, and all sort of things, but IT investment actually is a short life, 5 to 8 years. And if you don't make use of that equipment, we have to replace that. There's something, this IT replacement cycle, the short IT replacement cycle is something a developing country like ours actually is very difficult to absorb. So this is something that we have to really focus on as well. And the training aspects, 110,000 teachers trained up to now, out of 200,000 teacher card. So the question need to be asked is, are these teachers and students are really using ICT for their education purposes? And the second condition that I mentioned, the second requirement that I mentioned right at the beginning, is the type of training that we get, which generally is a one-off training. And one-off training actually is not sufficient to acquire all the basic skills in using our ICT. So what are the alternatives? So if you have the network accessibility, there are a lot of alternatives way of training, particularly online training. And the crucial problems are the poor utilization of ICT resources and the creating the need or that crucial need for that the use of ICT. Solutions and a training with a mindset, with a focus, and telling the students or teachers how to explore and self-learning, and not just listen and basically absorb what you say. You go out and find and basically learn. And integration of ICT into the curriculum, because that creates the need. And it is in the curriculum and you have to learn. So that's part of that. And so this, for all this to happen, connectivity at reasonable speed is a must. And I would like to call this internet connectivity as a facilitator. And on one side you have the resources, and unless you facilitate,
you have only 2 minutes.
Facilitate, you cannot actually make proper use of ICT. So this pyramid, ICT employment pyramid, as you can see, there are huge base at the bottom. And at the middle, we have the primary source for the IT BPO sector. So its target should be to basically address all these things. And for that, we require a lot of training. And a lot of training has to be done to absorb these students into the IT sector. So let me skip that. And in the knowledge economy is all about the trading in knowledge. That is, the acquisition of knowledge is fundamental before you create any knowledge, so that can bring economic benefits. So the creation of knowledge, basically acquisition of knowledge, and internet today has become the primary focus. So this is something that we know. Once you get the education, innovation and the development follows. So road investment, we all know, as billions have been spent. That is to provide economic benefits to all the rural villages. And what we need to do is, time has really come to invest on what we refer to as information superhighway or information highway. So unless we invest in that critical area, we will not be able to reap the benefits of the money spent on hardware. So the connectivity amount is basically 200 million per year. And 120 million allocation we have from the government this year, but the remaining 80 we have to find from somewhere. And this investment allows 60% of the students, or 2.2 million students, to access internet, but very slowly. And up to now, the donor agencies have borne 2/3 of the cost. So this, with this slide, let me conclude. Again, coming back to the here and artists. That is, we are talking about connectivity speeds. It's a megabits per second or kilobits per second. And we are in the kilobits per second, which is a term that is gradually going outside the vocabulary in many countries. So we have to invest on one missing element if we are to reap the benefits of the investment we have already made on ICT, the infrastructure. And with that, let me conclude. And it's quite a coincidence that actually the Mr. Champikaranavaka, actually the Power and Energy Minister, and just as the electricity is a prerequisite or basic utility in any society, okay, in a knowledge economy, a knowledge society, the accessibility to the network and easy network access becomes the prime requisite or basic utility in that one. Let's all work towards that goal. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Ajith02.